Welcome back, deep divers. You know how sometimes, you just need to get up to speed on something, but, all the typical stuff is just so surface level.
Right.
Well, today's deep dive, we're taking a deep dive into all the opinions swirling around the new Beetlejuice movie. We've got your reviews right here, and oh boy, let me tell you, people are either loving it or really hating it.
Yeah, it's pretty divisive, it seems like.
It is. So, we're going to unpack all this, figure out why this sequel is causing such a stir. What's going on here?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because you're dealing with a character with Beetlejuice that has really become this, cultural phenomenon.
Right.
Right, he's transcended the film, so there are these massive expectations.
Yeah, huge expectations. And speaking of expectations, that leads us to, one of the biggest surprises from these reviews. Michael Keaton, barely in the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew it was an ensemble cast, but one review pointed out he doesn't even show up until 25 minutes in, and then his total screen time, less than 20%.
Did the critics just totally lose it over this?
Well, it's funny you should say that, because there's a real split. We've got some critics who, they loved the film, even with Keaton's limited role. They're praising the new characters, the storylines, the expansion of this whole Beetlejuice world. They weren't so hung up on the nostalgia factor.
So they dug the new stuff. But what about the ones who felt let down? Did they see this whole Keaton situation as some kind of betrayal? There is this sense of disappointment. You can feel it in some of these reviews. One even called it a missed opportunity, straight up. They felt like Keaton's Beetlejuice, that's what gave the original its magic. And without him, especially in that first half, it just couldn't recapture that same energy.
It's interesting, right? Because some people saw it as this fresh take, but then others felt like it was missing that heart of the original. And speaking of the original, it wasn't just the humor, right? It had that Tim Burton thing, that blend of macabre, but also kind of heartwarming. Did the sequel, did it manage to hit those same notes?
Well, that seems to be another point where people are divided. There are reviewers who are all about the visuals. They say the sequel totally nails Burton's gothic aesthetic, that quirky humor. They're using words like visually stunning and deliciously bizarre. They felt like it really captured that atmosphere of the original.
So visually, maybe it's a hit.
Yeah.
But what about the themes? I mean, the original wasn't afraid to get kind of deep, with grief, the afterlife. Did the reviews, did they get into that aspect of the sequel at all?
Oh, absolutely. There's this one critic, and they weren't even that into the movie overall, but even they admitted that the sequel did explore some heavy stuff like emotions around death, family dynamics. They even mentioned a specific scene with Winona Ryder's character, Lydia, that really stuck with them emotionally.
Wow, so even in a negative review, there's that acknowledgement of something done well. It's complex. No wonder everyone's talking about it. Now, I got to ask about this cash grab accusation that some reviewers threw out there. What are they even talking about specifically?
Yeah, one review actually used the phrase merchandising ploy. And honestly, when you look at how much Beetlejuice stuff is out there right now, it's easy to see where they're coming from.
Yeah.
Their argument is that it's all this merchandise plus Keaton's limited role that points to, maybe the studio is more interested in just cashing in on the hype than in telling a really good story.
It's that whole art versus commerce thing, right? Classic debate. So, okay, let's get down to it. Should someone rush out to see this movie or just wait until it hits streaming? What's the verdict?
Honestly, I think it really depends on what you're looking for. If you're a super fan, die-hard Beetlejuice, and you're okay with some changes from the original and you love those Tim Burton visuals, then yeah, you'll probably find stuff to enjoy in this one. But if you're walking in expecting an exact replica of the original with Keaton just, front and center the whole time, you might end up disappointed.
Man, I love how this deep dive, it gave us so much more to think about than just good or bad. So cool how a movie can hit people in totally different ways.
Yeah.
Create all this debate. Okay, before we wrap up, any other fun tidbits from the reviews? Anything juicy?
Oh, actually, yeah. Did you know that the original title for the film, it was Scared Sheetless?
Get out. No way. Scared Sheetless. Okay, that's amazing. All right, Deep Divers, now it's your turn. What do you guys think about this whole Beetlejuice sequel debate? Is it all about nostalgia, or can a sequel actually capture that magic all these years later? Hit us up on social media. Let's keep talking about this. Until next time, happy viewing.